Seema Global Consulting, and we're here today with TiE Nagpur, and excited to be here with you today. Um, it doesn't want to cooperate. Like Ankush reminded us that I was actually born in India. I grew up in Canada, and then I met and married my husband, and we moved to the US. I am a married mother of 4 children, adult children, who all live in the US. I am a mother-in-law and a grandmother. I am a nursing college graduate from many years ago, an international author and speaker of 2 books that I'll tell you about in a few minutes. And I'm also the founder and CEO of Seema Global Consulting. Seema is actually my middle name, and it means boundaries in Hindi, right? So I am a big boundaries girl, and we focus a lot of our work around that as well. So we do promote cultural understanding through leadership development, transformational coaching, and trainings so that individuals and companies and organizations are equipped and empowered to build and celebrate diversity, allowing them to grow forward together. When we grow forward together, we grow better and we grow stronger. So there are 3 questions that I use to navigate my own personal story, but it's really what makes my company function and flow well with the clients that we work with. And I ask myself these questions in every season. And the reason I'm sharing this personal space with you is so that you get a better handle on what we do and why we do what we do through Seema Global Consulting. So the 3 questions I usually ask myself are, the first one, who am I? And you're probably thinking, why do you need to ask yourself who you are? Why don't you know who you are? Well, isn't it fair to say that no matter what season we're in, we're always growing and changing and learning new things? Well, we need to check ourselves and say, well, who am I really? Am I a people pleaser? Am I engaging in situations that are not healthy for me? Who am I? Am I a person of integrity and trustworthy and reliable? Who am I? Because the who am I part really impacts our business. Second, who do I want to be, right? When we have a growth mindset, we're going to keep asking ourselves, who do I want to be 6 months from now, a year from now? Every year, my husband and I travel to the US to see our kids and do some work over there. And when we return, I always ask myself the question, all right, what's going to happen this year? What are we going to do? Who do I want to be by the end of this year? And implementing that work in my business as well. Why do I do what I do? This is probably the most crucial question you as a business owner needs to ask yourself, because if you forget why you do what you do, then don't do it. Because it's out of that space of passion and energy that we can get from understanding why we do what we do. And I do what I do because I really want people to grow and be living into their best potential. And so if Seema Global can partner with you to do that, we'll show you some ways on how that can happen. So a little bit more personal, so you really understand the core of why we do the transformational coaching in our company as well. Before, many years ago, I had an anger problem. I was very, very angry. And I imagine there are many people in this room can appreciate situations that just make you angry and you don't know why. Some of those reasons are legit and some not so much. And so I needed to deal with that anger. And I realized that I was not experiencing peace. And so working through that, going through the process that I did, that I share with my clients, I was able to appreciate a peace-filled journey. I was also very lonely in my story, living in the US, being the only non-white, non-Dutch person in our community for a very long time, and learning how to be Indian, but then also living in an interracial marriage and a variety of other things, really built that loneliness into me. So I had to learn how to work through that and surround myself by the right people. And as a business owner, it's absolutely crucial that we're surrounded by the right people, the people that support us, encourage us, and walk with us even in those tough times, right? I lacked confidence. Yeah, believe it or not, I lacked confidence. Who you're seeing today is because I've done all that hard work. I haven't arrived. I still find that a challenge sometimes, but I do know the growth, and I really want to empower other folks to find that same confidence. And so understanding that after the work that we did, I was able to achieve that confidence. I'm often misunderstood. Would you quick do me a favor and in the chat box, just put an emoji if you understand what it means to be misunderstood in your own story, because I know I'm not alone in that, right? Whether it's my personality, whether it's my communication, whether it's just the way that I was living life, the challenge was real. A lot of folks misunderstood me, and it made it very difficult, and I couldn't figure out why. As I grew with the tips and tools that we had learned and the work that I was doing, I gained clarity and focus, not just in my personal life, but it impacted my life greatly as a leader and as a business owner. And I hope that for my clients as well. So how did I get there? It wasn't overnight. I assure you, it took several years and a lot of commitment. I worked through it with counseling. I had a coach and a counselor for a while to really work through those personal issues and personal challenges. And then I was able to implement some of those things, and they actually work. I learned to live in my strengths. Have you ever been in a situation where someone says, it's okay, be strong? And you're thinking, I don't know where I'm supposed to be strong. I don't even know what my strengths are. And so it's important for us to try to learn what those are. We have some resources and some testing that we do in our company to help you understand what those strengths are. And once you understand them, oh my goodness, it's so freeing. It was really important that I got to the root of my feelings. So many of our clients have no clue as to why they're feeling and experiencing what they're experiencing. And then those kinds of feelings impact their role as a leader and a business owner so negatively. And the solution is just get to the bottom of the issue, get to the root of their feelings so that they can also lead well in the spaces that they're in. I needed to address my triggers. We have a whole workshop at Seema Global Consulting where we teach you how to acknowledge what your triggers are, work through them, and feel stronger as a result of what are those situations that trigger you. And in our business work that we do, we face a lot of people and a lot of clients that trigger us in negative ways, right? Whether you're selling products or people are your products. And so for Seema Global Consulting, people are my product. And we help folks really get a handle on what those are in their story, from triggers to the root of their feelings, understanding their strengths, and just coming alongside them in their journey. So what do we do now? We empower, equip, and encourage others to live their best selves personally and professionally. So as a management coach and trainer, that is one aspect of our work, which I'll explain in a minute. I'm a cultural educator, and I'm an international author and speaker. So in the management department, I'm a professional facilitator with an accredited university in Michigan, and I've been with them for about 5 years now, where they provide the courses for corporates to come and take the courses on leadership development and a variety of other areas, and I've been a facilitator for them. I'm also a sales rep for the exchange student programs at that same university, and we do that either virtually or in person for courses that are provided by that university. I'm a business coach on the Zapier app for job seekers. And let me pause right there to let you know that if you go on the app, it is called Zapier, and you can download it for free and get a lot of great personal coaching by myself and a variety of other coaches to encourage you on your journey, whether you're a business owner or you are actually seeking a job. There are great opportunities on that app for you to be encouraged. I'm a partner consultant with KJR Consulting. Again, I facilitate workshops for them online because obviously I can't go to the US every other week. So we do a lot of online training for corporates, and that is a great opportunity for us as well with Seema Global. And last but not least, at Seema Global Consulting, we do transformational coaching, which is one-to-one coaching and group trainings as well. As a cultural educator, I am a DEI practitioner. In India, that is not a thing, right? It's not very common for people to talk about being a DEI practitioner. This means it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's what the 3 letters stand for. These terms are very commonly used in USA and Canada to make sure that programs and policies are representing and participation of diverse groups of people. And this is a really important fact, that we can celebrate that we're all different, but how do we allow the differences to unite us? That has actually been a very huge challenge for me, having relocated back to India 2 years ago, and just finding ways to unite with folks that are different than us and me has been a challenge, but it's been exciting because Indian folks are very, very welcoming. And so it's just been a journey to learn through that. We also provide workshops to understand culture. These are opportunities to building inclusive work cultures and other relationships, and the impact of cultural nuances. Often people don't have a clue what their cultural nuances are doing in a relationship, but they're the core, they're the hard wiring in us. And when you've lived in different places or engaged with folks different than you start to understand the need for that. We also do student and faculty exchange programs with higher education institutions, specifically in Michigan, because that's where we are from. And we can connect you to different programs through that. Trainings for cross-cultural experiences. I work with clients for travel and work relocations, and it's an opportunity to equip, empower, and encourage them in their journey. I'm an international author and speaker. My first book came out in 2015, named I Am Hagar, Forgotten No More. And it's a book that encourages you to learn how to let go. So many times we just hold on to the stuff, and personally and emotionally and mentally. And it's a way to learn how to do that through the lens of my own personal story. I Am Third, Redeeming the Pain was a book that I published last year. It is a book about our parenting and adoption journey through the lens of our interracial marriage. My husband is white Dutch American, and through our multicultural family. And you can find that on Amazon, or I have lots of copies here with me, and I would love to get one in your hands. I'm also a motivational speaker where I speak on culture, leadership, parenting, women empowerment, and a variety of other topics. And Seema Global Consulting has some great videos coming up through our YouTube channel, which we'll be able to share with you soon. I'm also a podcast host for Growing Forward Together and a blogger. I've taken a little pause on that right now because we're trying to restructure some things and make sure that I'm using my time wisely, because you all know as business owners, we can get really busy and very distracted, and it's always important to stay focused on our why. Last but not least is She Speaks. She Speaks is an event that I host monthly for women professionals and business owners. And if you're interested in that as a woman entrepreneur, business owner, professional, please contact me directly, and I will make sure to get the information into your hand. It's a time where we share a talk. I do a talk, and for Nagpur friends, we are hosting coffee dates once a month in person to discuss that topic, and it's been really, really fruitful. We'll be celebrating our first year this next month in September, and I will be speaking on emotional intelligence. So there you go. You get to hear about that first here. So what's next? I want you to ask yourself, do you want help to grow personally or professionally? That's something you get to answer, and I will show you some ways on how you can reach out to us. We have, these are our potential clients, individuals who want to live more authentically in your story. If that's you, put a check mark in your mind about that. If you want to overcome some personal challenges that are affecting you professionally, we are not counselors, we are coaches. And I say we because my husband as well. But I am a coach, and I work with you in that space. If we do discover there are some challenges that maybe you need a counselor, we will direct you accordingly. If you feel like you've tried everything and have found it is too difficult to go it alone, we're here for you to walk with you in your journey. And if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and are finally ready to go ahead for sustainable change, we will journey with you in that space. And for business owners that have employees that need some personal and professional coaching to increase their potential in their company, please connect me to your HR department, or if you know specifically somebody who does, we would love to connect with them also. So far, we have worked with international companies. We've worked with small businesses from 5 to 20 employees. We've worked with CEOs, executive leaders, and entrepreneurs. I've worked with individuals and couples for their own personal and professional growth. A situation where a wife came to me, she worked with me for the 3-month package, and halfway through, she's like, please work with my husband too. I said, he's going to have to call me. You can't sign him up on your own time. You have to get him to call me. And sure enough, he did. He said, I don't know what you did with my wife, but I want some of that. I'm like, great, let's work together. We worked with college students and universities and colleges. Thank you so much for your time. This is how you can reach us. Feel free to take a screenshot of that. Definitely follow us on Instagram. We've got some great videos coming out on YouTube that you'll be able to enjoy and connect with us and build community and keep growing forward together. Thank you again for your time. And thank you, Deepal, for being here and for inviting me to be here today.
Thank you, Kinita.
COVID was an opportunity for you, I believe.
It really was. Yeah, honestly, I think it was interesting because we had all of our work went online. And so we were able to do more teachings and trainings and engaging with folks when they were were feeling like they couldn't leave their homes, right? And so it was such a rough time for many people. But for our business, it really took off. And then during COVID was when we moved, because why not, right? Sell everything and move to a different country during COVID. It was in 2021. So it worked out really well for us to be able to do that. And it was a positive. But again, knowing that for many people, it was not a positive, it was a negative. And I like what Miriam said, that they took that time to rest during COVID, and it was good for your business, you know.
You must have been really busy during COVID.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
It was good. I mean, and it was a little different because the coaching was for folks who were feeling like they weren't able to be in the office, so they weren't able to connect with their other employees and their colleagues. And so we were able to be in that space to support them. And then also some companies were asking, how do we, take care of our folks when they're working from home and or working hybrid, right? When they were able to go into the office. And so there were some good connecting points that we were able to give them as well.
Wonderful. So I was just in your presentation you mentioned diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah.
Can you explain this?
Yes. So the snapshot of those three letters are that. So diversity, when you look into a room and whoever's at the table, like whoever the people are in the room, we're all different. Right? Whether we're different with gender, so men, women, whether we're different with socioeconomic, how much money people are making, whether we're different with industries. So perhaps people in this Zoom room right now, the diversity is we're men and women, we're also from different industries. So that would be the D for diversity, paying attention to the differences. Then the inclusion piece is, are people allowed to participate and speak into the work that's happening? So if you have a project with different people at the table, how are they able to put their voice into that conversation? And then E for equity says that some people might need a little bit different level of resource to be able to do the same job, right? Whether a handicapped person needs a wheelchair to continue that race or finish that work, or maybe somebody needs glasses. Like, look at all of us on the screen right now. For those of us that are wearing glasses, that's equity. We're still able to see, like all of us can see, but for those that have glasses, we can see better if we didn't have them, right? So equity, those are some simple ways, but we use them in a different space in terms of working conditions, in relationships, in society. And in the US, there's a really large problem with racism. And so what they've done is really hone in on companies and making sure that HR offices have the proper policies in place so that individuals are treated equally, that their provisions are made for inclusion, like how do you set the table? We talk about it in the language of how do you set the table, and that meaning who's around the table, and then how do you get them involved in building a diverse community? In a nutshell. But we have a 4-hour workshop that we can do to really explain all of that out.
Nice. So another question which popped up into my head is that you mentioned something about coaching and what was that other word? Coaching and
we do trainings.
Coaching and
cultural education, coaching, trainings, leadership
therapy.
Development.
Coaching and therapy. How do you differentiate coaching and self-help?
Oh yeah, you were talking. I was talking about counseling, right? The difference between counseling, coaching. So a coach, basically, we say that the coach walks alongside an individual and asks a lot of questions so that the client is the one that does that personal work. And with counseling, there sometimes are like diagnoses that come into play where the counselor would know, a certified counselor would have some of those, some of that information. And that's where the counselor then makes a diagnosis. Coaches cannot make a diagnosis. We simply walk alongside with you to let you know that, yeah, this is the direction. These are some questions, and allowing those questions to help the individual really understand their narrative better and what are some of their challenges.
Yes, I believe there's a thin line between coaching and counseling.
There's a difference. Yeah, extreme difference. Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'd have to go get my PhD and then charge you the big bucks if I was doing that.
Nice. So, how, how are you coping up locally, considering the international market, keeping international market to one side? Locally, how is it turning out for you? I mean,
It's a little challenging locally. I think part of it is people aren't understanding this work that we do. And so it's just taking a little bit more time. We're getting creative with how we're doing that. We're coming up with some workshops that we'll be putting out this year in the next few months. On one that's coming up will be about communication. So people are interested in that, right? So if we can get some more of our work out there, I think that'll help. But right now it's mostly I'm doing individual coaching more than the workshops. I'd like to do more workshops here in town. And it's just a matter of making the right connections and the right clients coming my way. Yeah. But right now our business is floating with the international market because this just works that way.
so I'm sure you can, coach Mariam also to expand internationally. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you can probably collaborate and create an international business too.
Yeah. There is a real difference between working with folks that are local or national, as you would like Pan India, and then working internationally. And we also discovered that on the flip side, while we were in the US working with Nigeria, India, and a couple of other and Nepal as well. So I think that's what some of the cultural education that we bring to the table to help individuals really appreciate, understand kind of the backstory of their own cultural narrative, but then the cultural narrative that they're working with. We recently worked with a client that came in from Bali, and she had a project that she was working on. So I connected her some clients. She flew me to Pune and then Goa, and then back home to Nagpur. And I was able to kind of help her navigate some of those cultural pieces that she needed in her business. So yeah, if Miriam's needing any connections internationally, we can definitely see. I don't have a lot of friends in the industry, but we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I have few more questions for Mariam and Kinita. I just want to understand as to how exactly do you get your team playing a crucial role when it comes to decision making in any kind of a project?
Do you want me to answer? You want Miriam? I wasn't sure who that question was for.
Yes, one by one, you both can answer.
You answer first, ma'am.
Oh, thanks, Miriam. Well, my teammate is on the screen right now listening to this conversation, so I hope I don't get it right. She can chime in if she wants to, Jackie. When we make decisions on our team, we have a few different segments. So my husband and I are, so Seema Global Consulting is my business, and he works with me. So he does the behind the scenes stuff. He's our organizational clarity person, director of operations. And so we work very closely together. We make sure we're clearing decisions with each other, having a lot of conversations before we execute. We also do some workshops together. So that requires a lot of being on the same page. Him and I couldn't be more different. We are so polar opposite in a lot of areas. And so it takes sometimes a lot more conversation to get to the middle. And so communication is key for us. It also, we've been married almost 30 years. And so that's a huge asset in our communication, but it still takes a lot of work. Jackie is our social media coordinator. So there's a lot of communication that happens with her as well. I make sure that I throw the ideas by her before I make them because she knows very well I'm a big ideas girl. And sometimes it's like, oh, I could run with this. And it's like, oops, not my responsibility. I need to hand it over to my social media director, who is way more equipped and better at the job than I would be. So we really make sure that communication becomes the heart of our work. And we believe that over communication is always better than regular communication or under communication. Hey, she gave me a thumbs up. That's awesome.
Kinita, one more question for you. Are there any significant operational or organization changes that you made post-COVID, or anything that is significant that you had done in your organization for better visibility?
Moved countries. No, I'm just kidding. That's besides the point. But yeah, we actually, because we had to go online, I had to do a lot of learning. I had to learn a lot of technology. I'm not great with technology. I still get a lot of, get stressed about how to, function with some of the ways that technology is changing. And so a lot of learning. and a lot of growth in those areas, making sure that I was surrounding myself with the right people that had the proper resources and abilities to do this work. And then just, as much as I was joking, I was a little serious that, we moved countries. And what's really fun is in India, people are big networkers. In the US and Canada, we not as great as they are here. So the networking piece has been really enjoyable for me because that's been my heart and it's my natural wiring, I guess you could say, to really network with folks. And so to be in a country where that is a really, like I don't know how to describe it right now, but it's at the top shelf, right? Like level, the way people network, the way people are highly relational. Indian culture is very much about being relational and in relationships with people. American culture, not so much. And so that was a huge shift where now I'm in a place where I am 100% very comfortable in my own skin and with the strengths. And so implementing some of those with our company has been really fun.
And any recent collaborations or community projects that you have done, Kinita, and anything which has communal benefit for the society?
Well, first of all, we just got back from 10 weeks in the US visiting our kids, and I did a lot of online work there. But when we were in India before our trip, we were working with a nonprofit organization here in town and did some trainings, some Women's Day work. We've done some, there's another organization here in town that I collaborated with. I used to be a salon owner, so I used to cut hair. And a friend of ours that runs House of Hope, it's an organization for kids who are either HIV positive or have lost one or both parents to HIV. We would go every couple months and I would do all the kids' haircuts. And there's like 10 or 12 kids that live in that home. And so that's just what we've been doing a little bit of. We're hoping to get more engaged and do some more collaborations in the near future.
Kinita, do you also collaborate with university students or university colleges for
yes,
their consulting and taking sessions? Do you do that also?
Yes, we do. We've worked with a few in the US, just not here yet. I've had a lot of conversations with some folks and they said they're interested, but then for whatever reason, it didn't work out. So we're hopeful that maybe going forward, we'll have some more after this session, we'll be able to connect with some more folks.
Kinita, what would be your long-term vision for your company?
My long-term vision for my company would be this. One of the reasons we moved to India is because, one, I was born in Pune, so I am a Pune girl. And I just want to give back to people what I've received with experience, education, all those kinds of things. And so our long-term goal is more to have maybe more coaches on board with Seema Global that would be willing to do this work locally. And so wanting to train folks and have more individuals be that much more empowered and equipped in their journeys as well.
So how much is your staff, Kinita, currently, the staff that you're working with?
Right now our staff is only 3. It's me, my husband, and our social media coordinator, Jackie.
Right. Okay.
And we like to keep it kind of small. It doesn't need to necessarily grow too much, but it's good.
Anything that you would like to promote, Kinita? Any upcoming events or discussions or?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. On September 6th, we'll be having our next She Speaks gathering for professional and business women. And we are excited about that because we'll be celebrating our 1-year anniversary. And what happens is you get a link. Once you register as a woman, you get a link to the video and a link to our Zoom session on the 6th. And then the following week, we have an in-person coffee for our Nagpur women friends. And we're excited to watch it grow. It's been growing successfully in the last year. And we've been very consistent with it every month. And so September 6th is our next one. And we'll be speaking, I'll be doing a talk on emotional intelligence. And it's a 2-part package for the next couple months.
So Kinita, why did you get into Seema Global Consulting?
Why did I get into Seema Global Consulting?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I didn't hear your question. You know what? I got into it because I was doing a variety of things, and I was doing it in a variety of different ways. Prior to that, I was a salon owner for about 14 years, and I really fell in love with the whole small business aspect and wanted to be in a place where I could empower, equip, and encourage other business owners and other women to really find their voice and be the leaders that they know they can be and grow into that potential. And so when I came up with Seema Global Consulting, it made total sense because, like I said before, Seema is my middle name, and I'm big boundaries girl. And so I really help encourage folks to learn what their boundaries are, to not be afraid of boundaries, and not to ignore them and think of them as a negative, but they're actually a positive because they do protect us. So that's just a couple reasons why. And then, of course, the cultural educator piece, I'm very passionate about that because of my own experience, but because of the impact it can have in the lives of other folks.